All right, so it's been 2 months since we've taken the Steeda Silver Bullet 2.0 out to the drag strip. As you know, our last event was down there in Gainesville, Florida for the NMRA Spring Break Shootout. And quite frankly, our home track, South Georgia Motorsports Park, has been absolutely slammed with big event after big event. Well, thankfully tonight, they've got a test and tune. So we're gonna head back out and we've made a couple tweaks that we're gonna tell you about. So one of the things we changed was we switched over to the non-beadlock version of these Billet Specialty wheels. When we did the comparison between the non-beadlock and the beadlock version, it was actually a 4-pound difference per side. So that's 8 total pounds of rotating mass, or 18% lighter for these non-beadlock version. Now, while the beadlock version, it looks awesome and it's super aggressive, we're not quite making the horsepower yet, and we're not launching with a trans brake, so we're trying to save a little bit of weight. The other thing we did was we started blending in some E85 fuel. Now this is just pump E85. As we've seen a lot out there on the internet, some people are throwing in whole tankfuls of E85 and some people are starting to blend it. Well, we've always had 93 in this car, but we started putting some E85 in it this week, and to my surprise, the fuel trims have already started changing. Wide open throttle, instead of being in the mid to low 13 range, now we're at 11.5. So you can tell the computer's adding that extra fuel, which is something you need with E85. Now, we're gonna try that tonight. Like I said, a little less rotating mass. We put back in the Corbeau seats, took back out the stock seats, but it's hot. It's 90 degrees out today. Last time we were at the track, we were in the low 70s, so we had much better weather down there in February, but we're hoping a little bit of E85, a little less rotating mass, and let's see how she rips. Let's see how much better in the 10s we can get the Steeda Silver Bullet. So we're going to try that technique this time where we shift it manually and see what happens. Watching the RPMs, because I don't think it ever saw 7,000. Okay, so went a 162 short time, which is pretty good. I think 160 is our best. And a win a 164 to a 1093 with a 9 down in Gainesville. So 162 short time, that's pretty good, but definitely didn't feel as good the rest of the way. But hey, we'll see. So we're trying to be a 1093 with a 9. There we go. 1092 with a 9, come on. 1093/8's the fastest we went. We just went a 1092 with a 9. Maybe we should stay into the bracket race tomorrow. Oh well, it's hot. It says it's 86 degrees outside. It feels like it's 86. So yeah, 86 degrees going to 1092. That ain't bad. With a little bit E85 in the tank, so we'll let the car cool off and we'll go from there. We'll try it again. Bracket car, 1092 with a 9. So we improved by 9/10 of a second. But it's 86 degrees outside, so I'm not complaining. 1092 with a 9 at 127.53. And I don't think it ever saw 7,000 RPMs. So we're gonna let it cool down and get back at it again. Steeda. Felt good, but the 60-foot did slow to a 164. First pass was a 162.5. Obviously, I don't see the 10th, the thousandths position. Yep. Appreciate it, brother. 11.023. So it slowed down actually quite a bit. 2/10 in the 60-foot. 798 eighth mile. Yeah, wow. We were way off. We were 7/100ths off by the 8th mile. Mile an hour slowed a little bit. The car is warmer. All right, there's about 500 people at testing to tonight. So this is only our 3rd pass. So as you just saw, that last pass, and I ended up going to 162 short time, which matched the short time from earlier in the evening. Unfortunately, it only went to 1097 instead of the 1092 it went earlier. Weather temps were better. It was 81 degrees versus 86. So I'm not really sure why it slowed down. The car though is super, super consistent. We were happy. It went faster because as you know, and if you've been following this build, not every time we go to the track does the car go faster. So we want to figure out why the car went faster with it being warm out. Now we know we threw in some E85 and we did put the lighter Billet Specialty wheels on the back. So the first thing we did when we got back to the shop, we strapped it down the dyno. Same fuel we had in it when we were at the track. Now we ran it in 7th gear. Why? Well, 7th gear is 1-to-1. That's going to give you the most accurate horsepower reading on a chassis dyno. And it also is what the car goes across the quarter mile in 7th gear with those aggressive 409 gears. So 451 horsepower. That's pretty stout considering the only mods is some E85 in the tank, our Steeda high flow air filters, a ported manifold by 1320 junkie, and some Cook's long tube headers spinning that QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft. But once again, no tuning, no added timing. I've said it a bunch of times, I'll say it again. If we could change the shift points on this car, it's going to drop 2 to 3/10 of a second because it's shifting way too early from what that dyno graph shows us. So 451 horsepower with that fuel. Now, what does it make on pump 93? Do you want to know? You want us to get the C85 out of here, drive it for a couple days, let those fuel trims correct themselves since it doesn't have a tune, and then try the 93? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see if we can get that done. So what's next for the car? Where do we go since we can't tune the car? I'm not really sure. But we do have our friends at Anderson Composites sending us out their brand new deck lid. So we might take a month or so off from the track with this car. Who knows? We might knock the dust off the 2018 Silver Bullet and see if we can break that TVS supercharger record. I know it's dying to get back out there. I want to do some power wheelies, so stay tuned.